For the last 17 years, this white horse has gone on walks by itself across town. Her walks had always been uneventful until one day when she did something unbelievable for a baby. It's not unusual to hear of outdoor cats being let out of the house to roam around and explore their environment. Dogs, too, are expected to get loose and trot around their neighborhood. These aren't unusual occurrences, but things are a little different in a small German district named Feckenheim. Instead of a sassy, clever cat wandering the streets or a dog sniffing around, the people of Feckenheim have become accustomed to seeing a special kind of outdoor pet on their streets. In this district, there is a gorgeous Arabian mare named Jenny that takes leisurely walks through the streets. It's not a usual occurrence to find horses walking on the streets, yet Jenny does it every morning without a handler. Beautiful old Jenny isn't a homeless horse. In fact, she has a lovely home with a loving owner named Werner. Werner and his wife have had their horse for over 25 years, and the elderly man used to spend a lot of time with her. He would take her for rides around their farm, and on some days they would explore the streets together. Unfortunately, Werner got old and could not lead the active lifestyle he had before. This sadly meant he couldn't ride Jenny anymore, nor could he take her out for walks. According to Werner, Sweet Jenny used to be part of a caravan with their second mare, Charlie. Their adorable group also worked alongside a peppy white shepherd named Evita. Charlie passed away over the years, leaving Jenny with Werner, his wife Anna, and the precious Evita. Sometimes Evita would join Jenny and Werner when they went on their rides. With the reduced frequency of Werner's rides, the elderly man became worried that his sweet horse would become bored. Horses, like any other animals, need enrichment and exercise. Seeing as Jenny was part of a caravan once, she had lived all her life actively, and going from that to not having any exercise would have been jarring. So one day, Werner decided to let Jenny out of her stall in the stable. The plan was to let her roam the open space on his property and at least let her stretch and run around. Jenny was thrilled to be outside, and she happily galloped all across the land while her owner watched from afar. Werner, however, knew something was different about Jenny that day. Instead of returning to the stable, she stood by the fence, looking back at him with those intelligent eyes. Werner knew what his old girl wanted. She had missed taking walks on the streets. Many people don't imagine that horses can be as friendly or social with humans, but after spending so many years with all kinds of animals, Werner knew that they were all unique and smart in their own way. Horses are highly social, and Jenny especially loved to meet people. She would happily greet people and observe the quiet bustle as she trotted through the streets. Werner sighed that day and walked to the fence to release the latch. Jenny neighed in excitement and happily trotted past the fence. The animal had always been a gentle, curious soul, so he let her take a walk, trusting that she would come back to him safely. Everyone in the town knew Jenny was his horse, and they loved seeing her with him on the streets. That day, Jenny returned home exactly before it was time for her midday meal. Right before noon, Jenny came trotting up the path that led to the farm, where Werner stood waiting for her by the gate. All day, he had been worried sick about Jenny, and a few people had called him on the phone to ask if he was aware that his horse had run away. He'd simply explained to them that she hadn't run away and was just out for a walk. For the next few days, Werner let Jenny out for her morning walks, and she came back right before noon every time. Werner joked that it was like there was a clock in her stomach that told her there was food at home, and it was time to come back. That was several years ago. Over the next years, Jenny and Werner continued this routine, and by then the residents of the district had already become accustomed to the 25-year-old mare and her strolls. She now had a note around her neck that let people know she was not a runaway and was no danger to them. The note read, "My name is Jenny. I didn't run away. I'm just going on a walk. Thank you." The friendly note also had Werner's home address and phone number in case tourists came across Jenny and didn't know what was happening. Locals would pet Jenny when she walked by, give her apples and other snacks that she loved, and they'd even watch out for her whenever she crossed the streets. They would pause while driving to let her cross the road and shower her with praises. When Jenny passed the tram station, the horse had friends there too, and the driver had become familiar with her visits. Jenny was an unusual celebrity, but she loved her town, and its people loved her right back. In fact, Jenny was so popular that the police knew about her too. Whenever people who were new to the area spotted her, they would call the police about an unsupervised horse roaming the streets. The police would call Werner and ask him if he knew where Jenny was. As always, he said yes. Jenny was incredible and so smart that she knew how to wait for crossing lights, and the naughtiest thing she had ever done was nibble on the occasional rose bush. The mare had the same route for over a decade, and there had been no incidents whatsoever. This was until one day when Jenny had a surprising encounter with a baby while she was on an unusual walk. Jenny met a man walking with his 2 dogs and his baby in a stroller. Seeing as the man was relatively new in the area, he was shocked to see a horse walk right up to him and his baby. His daughter had been crying in her stroller and was so distressed that he didn't know what to do to calm her down. If he had been expecting any reactions to his wailing tot, he certainly didn't expect it from a horse. So when Jenny stopped by the baby's stroller and peeked into it to stare at the baby, the man was shocked. This animal could very well hurt this little girl because it was clearly very strong. Jenny then shocked the man further. She nuzzled the crying baby's hand and watched her carefully with her kind eyes. Like a scene out of a Disney movie, the little one immediately stopped crying. The loud shrieks were replaced with a soft smile and soft giggles. As though Jenny hadn't just done something unbelievable, the horse simply went about her day, nibbling on a rose bush a few feet down the road. The dad was so surprised that he couldn't stop telling everyone about his encounter with the mare. This made people fall in love with Jenny even more. A journalist who heard about the special horse of Feckenheim shared her story on social media, but was instead met with mixed reactions. Lots of people shared their special encounters and stories of horses doing incredible things and being an important part of their society. On the other hand, many people online thought it was very negligent of Werner to let Jenny roam the streets without supervision. They also claimed it wasn't safe for Jenny or the people on the roads and streets. The people of Feckenheim found these criticisms ridiculous. They all cared for Jenny and happily cleaned up after her. If she ever ran into trouble, they were always more than happy to lend a helping hand. Werner also revealed that his precious mare had regular appointments with her vet. The vet found the horse to be highly intelligent, alert, relaxed, and very satisfied. In fact, her daily walks contributed to her good health. She was agile and strong, and there had been no bad stories in all her 17 years taking walks through Feckenheim. Locals had come to expect to see Jenny, even though tourists were shocked by her presence at first. She was enough of a local celebrity that there was almost always someone around to explain. Sadly, Jenny passed away this year. No matter what, dear old Jenny will always be remembered for being the most friendly horse in her district. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have a Jenny in every town? Share your thoughts on the wonderful Jenny and her beautiful story in the district of Feckenheim. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so that you don't miss out on more heartwarming stories like this.